Welcome to this channel. I'm Jenny and I am your heart healer. I work with many people who are looking to deal with heartbreak and loss and try to help them get through this process. I am a therapist, marriage and family counselor, individual counselor, couples counselor, relationship counselor, and I specialize in doing special energy work, healing modalities such as meditation, hypnosis to help people get through this process and kind of become the strongest versions of themselves. And I've been doing this for over 20 years. I understand a lot of people have been dealing with heartbreak. Maybe you've had a long road of heartbreak. So I am, um, let's see, I'm getting some message here. I don't know what that means. We'll just kind of go with it. But basically, help people kind of go through this process, get through the the hard parts. A lot of times, um, recovering from heartbreak can be kind of in waves. Like it's maybe really shocking at first, and then we go through ups and lows, and maybe have good hours, good days. And so, helping people kind of navigate that process is what I love to do. And I'm so excited to kind of get here. I did have a couple of people ask me to a couple of questions, so I get to kind of put them on there. But if you have any questions, feel free to message me, and I'm happy to ask your questions and kind of go through the process. And I really appreciate people asking me questions that I know how to address kind of what's going on right now. And it always helps other people as well know where they want to be and like, oh, I have that question too. So that's wonderful. I trying to figure out what this is asking. I don't know. I'll just select this, I guess. It's asking me kind of like a weird question. Oh, I think this is for an ad. Okay, Facebook. I don't know. Stop popping up and I will get through this. But okay, so I'm going to get to a couple of questions. And again, if someone jumps on with questions, I'll go through it. But I did have somebody ask me about some coping mechanisms and to kind of address that. So I guess my question for you is just being self aware and asking yourself, what are your coping mechanisms? And there are, all coping mechanisms are kind of what they are, but there are going to be healthier, easier, better coping mechanisms. And there's going to be some that maybe you need right then just to kind of get through that moment, but you're not meant to be there or feel stuck. Meaning, there may be people that fire back or they feel like they need to defend themselves or kind of, really kind of push people away. And although that's not a bad coping mechanism per se, it isn't healthy for you to stay in that really, I'm going to call it aggressive or attacking or pushing away. Now, if you need to do that to get to that moment, of course, like you know where you are and you know if you need to kind of, I'm going to say fight back or be in that mode, like, okay, back off. Like you have to use, very kind of more harsh situations to like do that. But to stay in that mode may not be the healthiest for you because staying in the energy that it takes to get that, for example, maybe anger or fear gets you to that point. Anger and fear is not necessarily the healthiest place to stay. It's not good for your body, it's not good for your mind, it's not good for you energetically, and it's not going to bring people into your life that you want. And it is just a lower vibration, just as a fact. A happier vibration than that is peace, and I would call peace as a higher vibration, and also just kind of neutral, like, okay, I'm kind of at peace with things. So getting kind of on that scale of a coping mechanism, like, okay, I need this for now, but knowing that you can always go to another place and get that handled for yourself. So coping mechanisms, a coping mechanism by definition, or a definition, is how are you handling your trauma, your stress, your emergency situation? How are you coping? What are you using to survive? What are you using to get by? And absolutely, in a breakup, in a heartbreak, in going through even a breakup situation, even during, you need coping mechanisms. I recommend healthy coping mechanisms, and I do offer a course on, and part of it does focus on healthy coping mechanisms and how to get you through that scale, how to identify what they are, how to go through the process of coping mechanisms, and how to find the best coping mechanism for you exactly where you are. A coping mechanism that you used 10 years ago may not be the best coping mechanism for you today or even a month ago. And where you are in a coping mechanism now, maybe there is room for improvement and you can learn some healthy coping mechanisms. So just identifying, being self-aware and understanding where are you with your coping mechanism, and what some better coping mechanisms are, so that you have some choices. Choices are amazing. So during this heartbreak, um, painful situation, what are your choices? Another coping mechanism that I find is people almost get frozen, and they kind of need to go within a shell and work within themselves. And although that isn't a terrible thing, to regroup and to know where you are and to focus inward, to do it in a way that is unhealthy, meaning isolation, um, not taking care of yourself, almost a self punishment, being in a state of high level of depression, isn't the best coping mechanism. Now, some downtime and giving yourself some time to take a break is definitely recommended, and it may be okay for a moment, but to stay there is not going to get you where you want to be on your emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, physical place. That's not where you really want to stay, in that kind of frozen in a shell, kind of feeling like you're going through this alone. And that is something else that I offer for people going through heartbreak in my heartbreak recovery. And this is a place where you can feel like you're not going through this alone, and you have me. So you have me coaching you through this, and me giving you the tools and options that you need, listening. You have someone understanding you with really strong compassion, because I see people go through this process, and I have for many, many years. But you also have a community. So you have a community built in, going through something that you're going through, in my heartbreak recovery group, and you get to be a part of this community and be with people going through something where you are. So that understanding, and just people really hearing where you are, is of such an amazing value, because to feel heard, listened, understood, have compassion for where you are, and for you to even be able to give that in return, is it's a beautiful thing. So I love watching that as well. That's amazing. So understanding where you are in your coping mechanism, what are your coping mechanism tools, and then finding healthy coping mechanisms, I think would be a huge step and a goal for anyone going through this, as self-awareness is huge, and learning how to handle that and manage that is my recommendation. So if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to do that. I did have someone else that had a question, but I'll kind of see if anyone else had anything on here. Um, while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to answer one more question, and feel free to always shoot me your questions in advance, and I can kind of push them through. But someone else did ask me recently to answer this on here, and the question is, how do you deal with someone that is almost pushing you? How are you to respond to certain situations that maybe you're like, I don't want to deal with this. So if you are going through a breakup and this person is kind of coming towards you in a way, and it's like, how do you not react? How are you supposed to react? How are you supposed to not let this person suck you back in and reaction and to do that? And so my advice to her specifically and kind of going through this was for you to find out specifically what it is that this person is actually doing, meaning it isn't the message, it isn't the words, it isn't just the maybe even running into this person, how are you supposed to react? And something that I've tell a lot of people is you could always just take a breath, meaning it doesn't have to be like this is the right response. You don't have to have it pre-programmed, you don't have to have it live, you don't have to be like, okay, when this person says this, I'm going to behave this way. Like, give yourself a couple of seconds. What are 5 seconds? What is a minute? What are even 5 minutes going to do? So to take a pause, that is kind of the biggest thing that I can kind of give you. And in that breath, like, okay, this person is coming at me, this I'm running into this person is maybe messaging me, this person is giving me messages through other people. I'm going to stop, I'm going to take a breath, I'm going to take a few breaths, I'm going to give myself this minute, I'm going to give myself 5 minutes. And when you're in this place of kind of like, I'm going to take a breath, hopefully it's not a trigger response. And what that means is there are patterns and cycles of ways that you've dealt with this person and you've dealt with this scenario. And maybe in this pause, you have other options. And what are your options? And in that moment, just by asking that question, it's about you instead of, oh, this person does this and I respond this way. I hope that that gives you enough leeway to change your response to that person because it's changing the triggers in you and it can change how you feel. Oftentimes, when you've been going through a relationship with somebody and you are used to responding in a certain way, it almost can bring you down a whole entire loop. And you are hours, days, weeks, months, maybe in this trigger based on them kind of coming for you. And so, taking this time to yourself, and maybe there isn't a response. What about that for an option? This person's no understanding that this person is trying to trigger you in some way. This person is trying to get that response from you, is recognizing that and seeing that for yourself in that pause and that breath, and then saying, okay, what are my options? I don't have to respond how I used to respond. Maybe there's other responses and I can just take a moment, and maybe it's I'm going to focus on myself and I don't have to respond at all. That's a very beautiful thing. And in giving it a pause and giving some moment, you can be in this reflective self awareness process within yourself. So, this is another very huge topic that we cover in my heartbreak recovery. And I do offer it, it's in the link here. I offer you free videos that you can watch just by clicking and signing up. You can always jump on here, and I'm happy to help answer any other questions you have from my best and highest wisdom and knowledge in helping people and going through this with them and being a part of this. I cannot answer any questions, but why not take advantage of this 6 free videos? All you do is click on the link below, put in some information, and I will email you 6 videos. I'm going to email you one a day. So get some other tips and questions answered and advice and help. This is really a very good guide to heartbreak recovery, and it's where to start. So I give you a lot of tips and tools and advice in these 6 free videos. And this is something that I'm offering. I'm not going to spam you or do anything. It's just for you to take advantage of this opportunity, get some free advice, get some connection, get some free advice from a therapist, get some advice that I can help you through your heartbreak recovery. And I really want to say that I have compassion for where you are, and I want you to be successful and I'm here if you need me. I do these calls most days of the week at 12 o'clock Central. Please jump on, ask me your question, sign up so I know you can be here. Send me some, you can direct message me, and I can make sure to post your question if it's something you can't be on live, that you can replay later and watch. And I think that's all that I have for you today. Those are my two questions that I had. Join me Monday. I will be back on here. Tomorrow's Easter. Happy Easter, everyone. But I will not be on tomorrow, but I will be back Monday at noon. Sign up for this. Sign up and get those videos. And again, message me with anything that you have. I wish you many, many blessings and success with your heart healing and your mental, emotional, physical, spiritual healing during this process. Know that you have community and support. If you choose to join my Heartbreak Recovery, you will have support through this process and people really, really caring about your success and happiness and wanting you to get through this. And it does help to be heard, does help to be listened. It does help for people to understand where you are in this process. That's a huge part of therapy. It's massive. And I would love for you to have success in this. So have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining, and I will see you Monday. Bye.